I'd like to begin, please, by asking you all a question. How many of you have ever been told that you can't or shouldn't do something, that your dream or ambition was out of your reach before you'd even tried? A show of hands, please. Thank you. That's quite a few. So where did you get your self-limiting beliefs from? Because we all have them. And have you ever sought to defy them and start the adventure to define your own limits? Do you believe in you or what others believe of you? My name's Nathan Gray. I'm a test pilot, a fighter pilot, and a war veteran. And from an early age, I refused to accept the limits of others and set out on a journey to define my own. In 2002, this was my office. It was from this office, as a young trainee fighter pilot, that I survived an accident the experts said was unsurvivable. I was in the front seat of a two-seater Harrier jump jet with my instructor Jack sat behind. It was a very early instructional flight on the Harrier and the culmination of 5 years of intense flying training. The aim? To practice just one of the many complex ways to take off and land the Harrier jump jet. As I slammed the throttle to full power and felt the phenomenal force of the Pegasus engine push me back into my seat, we reached 100 miles an hour within a second or so, and I heaved the jet airborne. Almost instantly, the engine exploded, and the aircraft rapidly began rolling upside down. A huge pressure wave forced me forward, and the cockpit lit up with warning and caution lights. All communication between me and my instructor had been cut, and as I looked up through the canopy, all I could see were blades of grass coming up to meet me. I knew it was too late to eject and survive. Somehow, instinctively, and possibly conditioned from training, I reached down between my legs and pulled the yellow and black handle and ejected. Now, being fired through a canopy with rockets strapped to your seat, whilst upside down and in a ball of flames, sounds incredibly fast and violent, and it is. But the milliseconds passed very slowly. Everything seemed to happen in slow motion as I straddled that fine line between life and death. With a sharp tug, my ejection seat fell away and my parachute opened just as I slammed into the ground, fracturing my spine in several places and fracturing and splattering my face and eyes with red-hot shrapnel. The whole devastating sequence lasted just a few seconds. I survived. Sadly, my instructor Jack, a legend within the fighter pilot community, was instantly killed. Now, as you can imagine, recovery, both mentally and physically, was hard. The fire in my belly was almost extinguished, but there was something deep down, a fight, a resilience, that drove me onward to face my fears, to rehabilitate my mental and physical scars, and to find a way to move forward despite this tragic event. I was determined to honor Jack's legacy, and despite many around me suggesting I should have a change of career path, understandably, because they thought I'd reached my limits, the only way I knew how was to keep on going. 1 year later, I qualified as a fighter pilot, and I went on to earn the coveted Commando Green Beret before completing multiple tours in war zones around the world, where my own perceived limits were stretched beyond anything I thought possible. War, the tearing of the fabric of humanity, does that. Success and survival on combat operations were often measured by no more than this red spot. The difference between life and death, of saving or taking life, measured in just a few feet. And it was whilst I was flying directly at the enemy, low, over the desert floor, at almost the speed of sound, that a lethal RPG went screaming past my head and missed by no more than this narrow width. And when attempting to identify friendly forces, hostages, and suicide bombers, decisions I made, sometimes from over 3 miles above the Earth's surface, were based on what I could decipher from no more than this small space. And it was when I was pushing the jet to its limits that I just missed colliding with the top of the Hindu Kush mountain range, by no more than this. Every day at war was a step into the unknown, where with focus, a belief in yourself and those around you, overcoming any obstacle, no matter whether it was physical or mental, seemed possible. I realized then that being limited in any way reduced your chances of success. And I realized that what I thought were my limits, and often the limit, had been completely shattered. And it made me want to continue to explore where few had before. This is me. In 2018, under the global spotlight, I landed the F-35 stealth fighter on board Britain's biggest warship, HMS Queen Elizabeth, for the first time. This brought together the groundbreaking F-35 development program and the innovative British carrier test program, stepping into the unknown to find the limits of man and machine. This was a high-risk mission with the highest of stakes. Now, as many of you know, the journey from dream to reality is often complex and challenging. Behind moments like this sits a series of life-defining choices, decisions, and quite literally blood, sweat, and tears that formulate a roller coaster of the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. But the fundamental reason why any moment like this happens is because we're brave enough to discard our perceived limitations and take a step into the unknown to define our own. Now, in the beginning, I failed several times year on year to start my journey to become a pilot. Each failed attempt highlighting my deficiencies and my limitations. Every day, I would ask myself, was what the interviewers, the assessors, all say true? Have I really reached the end of my dream so early on? Only I and those closest to me knew my true potential, and I trained, studied, and worked relentlessly to achieve my goal. After all of those failed attempts and over several years, I eventually found my tribe, and I was accepted to become a naval aviator, one of the toughest aviation jobs in the world and most dangerous. And it was there, for over 2 decades, that I was fortunate enough to travel the world, explore many cultures, and operate alongside some of the most elite individuals and organizations on this planet. After 15 years as a fighter pilot and a flying instructor, I was selected to become a test pilot. It was an arduous training and selection process lasting several years and scattered with success and failure. Becoming a test pilot is the pinnacle of aviation, and I was sent to the US Navy Test Pilot School in Maryland to complete my training. Now, it went well, better than I could have imagined, and with a lot of hard work, I graduated top of the class. And the reward for this was to be assigned to the top secret F-35 development program. And it's here where I discovered what cutting-edge technology really looks like and what operating in a high-performance environment as part of a high-performance team really feels like. I was surrounded by people I trusted, who believed in me, and whose appetite for discovery and breaking new ground was both infectious and powerful. And it's something I'm incredibly grateful to have been part of. Every action you took there and every decision you made mattered. Each new test point was practiced multiple times, and some, like the landing you saw earlier, were practiced thousands of times, going through each and every eventuality. Now, as test pilots, we define limits. We assess the hazard, we mitigate the risk, and we step into the unknown to find where the fine line sits on the hazard spectrum of life and death. We feel the fear, for sure, but we embrace the adventure, and we take calculated risk. Our mission is always to do what's never been done before, and to find where the physical limits lie so that others aren't placed in danger. And so, to be chosen to conduct the first ever F-35 landing on board Britain's newest carrier was the ultimate responsibility, and one that I never thought would happen to me, somebody who right from the very beginning was told that people from around here don't go on to become pilots, and to go away and think of something more realistic. Now, I come from Stoke-on-Trent. It's an amazingly resilient city, and one that's seen unprecedented industrial decline matched with real hardship and austerity. It's a place where opportunity and achievement are exceptionally hard to come by, where nothing comes easy, requiring tireless effort and relentless determination just to find the merest glimmer of hope and maintain the smallest spark of ambition. And yet, it's a city that's produced some truly remarkable, historic, inspiring, and resilient people. And in 1983, it's a place where the NASA space shuttle flew over, on the back of a jumbo jet, an image still etched firmly on my brain. And from that moment, my dream of flying emerged. It's also a place where the iconic Spitfire stands, designed and tested by our own local legend, R.J. Mitchell, that engaged and inspired me from the moment I could walk. And it's a place that I always had unwavering support from my family. And whenever I allowed thoughts of doubts to creep in, my father, a ceramic potter, would always say to me, "Well, son, there's always a place on the bench in the factory next to me." Motivation enough to go out and break that mold. But it's also a place that when asked by school teachers and careers advisors, "What do you want to be?" I was repeatedly told that my dream of becoming a pilot was outside my achievable limits, simply because of the place I'm from. None of what I was told at the beginning of my journey was true then, and it's not true now. Everyone has the choice to pursue their dreams, no matter who they are or where they're from. As a famous poet once wrote, "Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it." And I think you'll all agree, everybody needs a little bit of magic in their lives. So what I've learned in this, your dreams are yours, not somebody else's. And the moment you start to pursue them, you begin to break apart the limits the world tries to put around you. So I'll ask you again, where did your self-limiting beliefs come from? And do you want to believe in them or believe in you? Feel the fear, embrace the unknown, and define your own limits. Thank you.